Sleep keeps our mind and body healthy, and fresh air is one of the most important things we can do for our health. But it has been so under-researched and undervalued that we are missing in something important here. This is part 2 of our series, 7 Natural Remedies. As we discussed on the first part of our series, benefits of sunlight and how it affects our sleeping habits, now we're going to build on that topic. How many of us have heard it's important to sleep 8 hours to have a good night rest? Well, actually it's the quality of rest, more so than the quantity and hours that you spend sleeping, that will determine a good night's sleep. And this is all because of the circadian rhythm, which we'll enter more in details later. So before we continue, let's dwell on the concept of the word sleep. Sleep is a state of unconsciousness in which the brain is relatively more responsive to internal stimuli than external. The brain gradually becomes less responsive to visual, auditory, somatosensory or touch, or other environmental stimuli during the transition from wake to sleep. Now we're going to dive in a little deeper for a short period of time. There's something we need to understand. The switch for sleep is found within a region of the brain called the hypothalamus. In here, in the anterior portion of this region, it's found what is called ventrolateral preoptic nucleus. This particular area becomes active during sleep. Yes, active. And uses some chemicals called neurotransmitter inhibitors or stoppers to initiate sleep by stopping the arousal regions of the brain, the ones that keep us vigilant. The primary inhibitor neurotransmitter is called GABA. Sleep is divided into 2 phases, REM, or rapid eye movement, and NOREM, which further divides into 3 phases, which we won't be dealing with. The entire interaction between REM and NOREM occurs 4 to 6 times per night, depending on sleeping patterns and the amount of time you have sleeping. The entire cycle takes approximately 90 minutes. It's important to know that sleep quality and time spent in each sleep stage may become altered by depression, aging, traumatic brain injuries, medication, or circadian rhythm disorders. So if you're a new parent, this is where you want to pay keen attention, because this is how you're going to understand your chaotic life from now on. Yes, the amount of sleep required depends on the stage in life where you're in. Sleep decreases as you age. So, for newborns and infants, being from birth to 1 year old, the amount of sleep per day is from 16 to 18 hours of this continual sleep. The longest continual sleep being from 2.5 to 4 hours. Their sleep is divided into quiet sleep, which is similar to NOREM, active sleep, similar to REM, and indeterminate sleep. This occurs because the circadian rhythm hasn't been fully set yet. Now we have to talk about the circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is the natural cycle of physical, mental, and behavior changes that the body goes through in a 24-hour cycle. Circadian rhythm begins to develop around 2 to 3 months of age, with greater durations of waking hours during the day and longer periods of sleep at night. At 2 months of age, the progression of nocturnal sleep begins. By 3 months of age is when the cycling of melatonin. Remember when we talked about that in the first part when briefly referring to sleep? Well, this hormone in interaction with another very important one called cortisol, which we will discuss many times in different topics, well, they interact in the circadian rhythm, helping stabilize sleeping patterns. Fast forward to 6 months, the longest continuous sleep episodes lengthens to 6 hours. At 12 months of age, infants typically sleep from 14 to 15 hours per day, with most of the sleep occurring in the evening. Now that we are back to the power board, we're going to continue determine the amount of sleep required during the different stages. Toddlers, this is from 1 to 3, and children from 3 to 9. The amount of sleep required diminishes by 2 hours approximately. Yes. By age 6, children manifest circadian rhythm preferences, either late owl or early bird. I have a 7-year-old late owl. Yeah. Adolescents from 10 to 18, they sleep approximately 9 to 10 hours. We as adults, depending on different factors, could be sleeping around 6 to 8 hours. And the elderly population, they tend to experience insomnia and early wake times approximately 43% of the time. Okay, so why do we sleep? Even though it's apparent that humans need sleep, the current concept of why sleep is vital is still to be determined. The current hypothesis as to the function of sleep includes neural maturation. It's believed that when we sleep, the connection between neurons and cells itself get repaired. Another one is the facilitation of learning or memory. Another concept, to forget unimportant information that would normally clutter our brain network. Another one, a very important one, cognition, or the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. Also, conservation of metabolic energy. When we sleep, we use a minimal amount of the metabolic energy in comparison than when we're awake and all our body functions are fully activated. Benefits of sleep. Improve mental function. Sleep is believed to help with memory and cognitive thinking. It's believed that humans sleep so the brain can grow, reorganize, restructure, and make new neural connections. A good night's sleep increases productivity by improving concentration and better problem solving and decision-making skills. On the other hand, a lack of sleep has a negative impact on the ability to think clearly, form memories, function optimal during day, like performing everyday activities from concentrating at work, decision-making, driving. This last one I experienced firsthand. A couple years ago, after a double shift, I was driving. At least I was driving. Well, I was actually dreaming that I was driving. It is scary. To never take for granted the power of a good night's sleep. Improve your immune system. During sleep, your body produces growth hormones necessary for development in children and adolescents. These same growth hormones also repair tissues and cells in people of all ages. Another cells that are produced during sleep are called cytokines. They are like the generals of the immune system cells. Well, they support the immune system in fighting infections. On the other hand, not getting enough sleep can impact negatively on your immune system, making your body more susceptible to infections. Exercise performance. Sleep is key to athletic recovery. As we discussed previously regarding the growth hormone, the production of this hormone is highest during sleep. This is a key element on repair tissue and contributes to muscle growth. That's why high-performing athletes are demanded to rest by their coaches and training staff so they can perform to their optimal of their abilities. On the other hand, when athletes perform without enough rest, the risk of injuries heightens, and that risk increases even further if they perform without enough sleep plus they overtrain. Mood boost and stress relief. While sleeping, your brain processes emotions. If you are well rested, you are better prepared to process your emotions at a more efficient level. And by doing so, the normal little stressors in life won't affect you as much because you are operating at a highest level, and that includes how we manage those emotion swings. Not only ours, but of other people, so we don't react at their actions on an irrational level. And that includes how we deal with clients, co-workers, and our family. And you can definitely tell if you have had a good night of rest by the way you react to your children. Oh yes. On the other hand, a large study shows that when you have insomnia, you are 5 times more likely to develop depression, and your odds of anxiety and panic disorders are even greater. Good for your heart. While sleeping, your blood pressure goes down. This is because metabolic functions are reduced to the minimum, and organs like muscles, the digestive system, respiratory, and most of your body are reduced to the minimal demands. This gives your heart and blood vessels a little bit of rest. Imagine a little bit of rest every night accumulating to a big benefits on the long run. Because for a muscle that has to work 24/7 for life, literally, any bit of rest will be well received. On the other hand, lack of sleep can cause the body to release cortisol, which is a stress hormone that triggers your heart to work harder, producing the opposite effect. The Sleep Foundation gives us a few good tips for a better quality, consistent, good sleep. It's all about the routine. The body works with its internal clock, and going to sleep and waking up at the same hour makes going to sleep a lot easier. Create your own personal perfect sleep environment. When it comes to sleep, individual preferences may vary, but in general, we all enjoy a good, quiet, fresh environment, right? Dark environment. So let's work on that. Let's try to create our own sleep haven. We could use eye mask, blackout curtains. If we need to use headphones, then do it. Whatever we need to do to be in the perfect environment that will help build a better sleep. Daytime exercise can make you sleep easier, and it has been associated with better sleep quality. Also, if you're doing exercise outside and combining it with the benefits of sunlight, as we discussed in our previous video, that would definitely help us to get an even better quality of sleep. Okay, so that kind of covers our sleep topic. So now let's switch to our next topic, fresh air. And for that, we're going to make a transition from night to day. Or transition. There is no doubt that fresh air is beneficial for our health. We all know that. But how it is beneficial, that's the question right there. And that's what we're going to find out. Your body. Every cell of it depends on a constant stream of oxygen. Staying indoors, relying only on air conditioning for long periods of time, causes the air to be breathed again and again, diminishing its quality. People who live in the city, besides going out and getting their healthy dosage of fresh air, should, as much as they can, even if it's on the weekends or on vacation, go out to the mountains and breathe real fresh air. I can assure you, you'll notice the difference, and your body will notice too. And now, as for how the exchange of oxygen occurs inside a body, We're going to explain it right away.
On our bloodstream, there are the red blood cells, which carries the protein hemoglobin. Think of this like a vehicle for the oxygen. So, when the blood gets into the lungs, there's, let's call it a docking station where the oxygen you have breathed is waiting. And once this molecule gets in this area called the alveoli, they pick up the oxygen molecule and transport it inside the cells in our bodies. The decrease of hemoglobin in our bloodstream is called anemia. And having anemia means less blood is able to be captured every time you breathe, and less oxygen is distributed to the body.
That's why people with anemia are always feeling weak and tired and having problems to concentrate, because oxygen is so very important for our entire system. It fuels our body, our muscles, our brain, our entire system. Now imagine limiting the amount of oxygen you can capture in each breath by limiting the quality of the air. That's why fresh air is not only important but vital for a healthy lifestyle. Now let's talk about the benefits of fresh air. Among the benefits of fresh air, they are included: boost your mood. This is feeling like a snowball. We first talk about the benefits of sunshine on your mood and on your sleep. Then when we talk about sleep, we also mentioned that it was beneficial for your mood, and now fresh air. Talking about your brain, fresh air increases your energy and sharpens your mind. Approximately 20% of the oxygen we breathe goes to our brain. By increasing the amount of fresh air, you can provide greater clarity to your brain by helping you to focus and concentrate better. Oxygen is absolutely necessary for each cell of our body to perform at its peak of its ability. Without sufficient amount of fresh air and the oxygen that it implies, the body won't be able to defend effectively against viruses, bacteria, and parasites. Also, part of the method applied by the body to defend against invaders in our bodies is the inflammatory response. Inflammation is the method of defense of our bodies, and without enough oxygen, it wouldn't be as efficient to fight off against infections. Continuing the topic of the immune system, fresh air also reduces airborne illnesses and infections. Stale air is the prime element for survival of viruses and bacteria, which have minimal chances to survive in a fresh air environment. The American Lung Association released a report that concluded that people living in the cities have shorter lifespans than those living in rural areas. Besides many reasons for this, one of them, and a very important one, is air pollution.
Until next time, and welcome to the community. Don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, and give a like.
As we discussed on the first part of our series, benefits of sunlight, and then continuing with the topic of the immune system, fresh air also reduces airborne. 2, 3. Continuing talking about the immune system, fresh air is also 2, 3. Continuing to talk of the